a lot over the period we've been doing these vlogs around all sorts of different things in the workplace. We've talked about a changing workplace. One of the things that we found I'm finding very interesting, is when we hire new people who are maybe interns or haven't had a job for quite some time, we take them on and we offer them a salary and they're really excited to come and work here. And then we realize that because they haven't had an income for some time, there might be quite a significant cost that they incur around coming to work in that first month before they get that first salary. And we can't be the only company facing this kind of concern. Certainly at the lower salary level, we've heard feedback that people literally stop working after a week or 2 weeks because they can't afford to travel to work. So what ideas do you think we should be looking at as industry and as businesses in South Africa to try and help solve this problem?
So I think awareness is the first thing. So actually think about it if you're taking on interns or ETI employees. Have they got any income? How far do they have to travel to come to work? Because we know that taxi fares are expensive. And do you have a lunch scheme, or are they expected to bring their own lunch? And maybe you've got to just have a conversation with them in the beginning to say, how are you going to handle this? Interns are supposed to be living with their parents, so they ought to be able to get to work, but we know that this isn't always the case and that sometimes an intern is supporting a family.
I think also that possibly by the end of the first month they're in a different position. So that first month is where the challenge arises. So what we're really talking about here is HR opening up that conversation as part of the interview process. If we hire you, will you be able to afford to come to work in the first month? Particularly to the younger people, but also people who've maybe been retrenched and have been out of work for a while and are coming back into the workplace, possibly moms who've been off work for a while, and again the same sort of story, and you think that maybe there's enough money in the family for them to get to work, but travelling to work has become quite expensive. So again, I think it's simply around human resources or the line manager or whoever is placing that person to actually have that conversation. And there might be ways then to facilitate that person not having that struggle, and in the first week or two starting to try to borrow money from colleagues and so on, which can create a negative feeling in the workplace for that new employee.
So rather perhaps paying new staff weekly.
I think that's a good idea. Or an advance of some kind to enable them to come to work. It's a difficult conversation to have, and it's very sensitive, but rather do that than allow a situation to arise that could be very uncomfortable for both the new employee and the colleagues.
Absolutely.